And again, if you're not familiar with Zoom, you know, you can always turn your video off if you feel like, you know, whatever, dancing around the room or whatever. We will be muting everyone so that the attention will be on the person reading. And I think
I'm going to be doing that right now, John. Hold on a
yeah.
second.
And I think that Jules will unmute people.
I'm going to unmute you. Okay.
Thank you. And I think is the closed captioning going
that's
already?
going.
Good. Okay. Wonderful. Anyway, thank you all for coming to this event, and I think Jules and I are both really excited about this. And I will introduce our featured readers in a minute. First of all, I wanted to, first of all, a shameless plug for my new book, Joe Rides Again, the further adventures of Joe the Poet, and from FootHills Publishing in upstate New York, which is also Eddie's publisher, Michael Zernecki's press. And I'll be doing some, yeah, Teresa, all right. I'll be doing a couple of readings in September, including one for Sandy Yanone's Cultivating Voices Live group. So anyway, stay tuned. We call this Kaktus with a K because that's the name of a brewery in Bernalillo, New Mexico, just about 2 miles from where we are in Placitas, New Mexico. And it's a wonderful place, and they have good beer and good pizza. So, and they are doing, of course, the patio, takeout or patio service only because of the law at the moment with the restrictions. And thankfully, our governor is being very cautious about reopening. But we are going to try something in September. We'll have to see how it goes, but things are looking much better in terms of the flattening the curve in New Mexico. So we're thinking about trying to do a hybrid Zoom and live thing where the readers the two featured readers would be at the brewery and with a few friends, but most everybody would be on Zoom. They'll be on the patio, reading from the patio stage. And the features for September, and it's going to be September 30th. It's going to be a Wednesday because we want to avoid the first presidential debate conflicting with that. I don't know how many of us can stomach that, but anyway, well, we're going to have it on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday, September 30th. Featured poets are the inaugural poet laureate of Albuquerque, Hakeem Bellamy, and State Senator Bill O'Neill. And so anyone from New Mexico knows that's going to be a dynamic duo, and we'll very much going to enjoy that. So we're hoping to be able to pull it off as a hybrid event. Stay tuned for details, okay? And anyway, anything else, Jules, that before we get started?
Nope, we're good. So
okay.
I got Eddie going. Great.
Yeah, good. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm going to get started then with introducing our first performer, first poet, Eddie Swayze, who comes to us from Rochester, New York. He attended the National Technical Institute of the Deaf, NTID, back in the 1980s when it was, along with Gallaudet University, the center of American Sign Language poetry. And I like to think, as an ex-Rochesterian, prejudiced, I don't know if Teresa Blankmeyer's here, who's from Gallaudet, but I'm prejudiced, and I think that Rochester was a particularly exciting place. I think Eddie can attest to that. And there were in that movement pioneers like Robert F. Panera, Clayton Valley, Patrick Graybill, plus young innovators like Ella May Lentz, Debbie Rennie, and Peter Cook of the Flying Words Project. There's an incredible documentary. I've asked Jules to put that up, the YouTube link for it. It's a 2-hour documentary, but it goes by so fast. It's called Heart of the Hydrogen Jukebox by Miriam Lerner, and it's the history of the ASL poetry movement and the moment in the 80s when people realized that you could do more than simply translate English poems into sign language, that you could create a whole new vocabulary, a whole new art form that combined many other art forms, including mime and dance and so forth into it. So a very exciting film. And Eddie is actually, he's actually in one of the scenes of the film. So this is where he got his, where he came of age as a poet, and self-identified as a deaf gay punk poet, and created a new subgenre of ASL poetry that I think could be called techno-punk ASL poetry, combining animation, music, dance, all kinds of things. So, and you'll see a little of that tonight. Eddie is also an actor and a founding member of the NTID-based performance poetry ensemble Dangerous Signs, which has been, I don't know how many, quite a few years now, Eddie, right? An amazing group. And it was my pleasure, I should say his new book, well, I already mentioned his new book is Futuropolis, can be purchased from Eddie or from FootHills Publishing, and the link is in there. It was my pleasure for the past 10 years to co-MC with Eddie an annual poetry event in Rochester called DEF Meets DEAF Poetry Jam, the Deaf Meets Deaf Poetry Jam. And it was at a bar, restaurant, bistro called Love and Cup on the edge of campus. And we always had 100, 200 people. It was great. And we tried to have slam poets, ASL poets, page poets, a whole mix of different kinds of poets. And it was always just a great, great, great fun. And so anyway, now that I'm in New Mexico, I missed that. Hopefully it will continue. So anyway, it's a special delight tonight to welcome my old friend, Eddie Swayze.
Hi, everybody. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do sign language using my hand and speak at the same time while playing GarageBand software of electronic music that are just looped, repeating electronic soundscape. Not really fancy music, it's just a repeat, it's just a background. So I'll be speaking in signy to make my voice clearer to you and separate it from the sound as a background to make it easy for you to understand what I'm saying. I usually don't speak a sign at the same time. I usually use recorded voice already in GarageBand with the music, but it does not work very well through Zoom. So I'm going to try to do it separately. Now, all the poems I'm going to do, about 5 poems I'll be doing, is coming from Futuropolis, the book. And it looks like this. I should design this cover. Anyway, you can purchase through FootHills Publishing Rochester or on your website. And I have it in my book too, in my box too. All right, so let me get started so that we'll get behind. The first poem I will do is called Cool Chrome Silver. The sound missing. Hold on. I don't know what happened to the sound. Hold on. Technical difficulty. I don't know what happened to the sound. All messed up. Hello, hello, hello. Now working. Output.
Eddie, I'm trying to unmute your other sign in. Is that it? The other one that says Eddie Swayze, unmuting that.
Should work. I don't know what happened.
Is it a separate sound?
I'm going to have to do it without music. It's all messed up, and I'm not going to take hours trying to figure it out. And that's fine, as long as I can speak and hear very well.
Not to worry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that important, sound. I'm going to remove the sound. I'm going to remove the sound. It's just not worth it. It's messed up. I don't know what happened. So I'm going to go speak and sign at the same time, okay? Cool, chrome, silver. Feel the hard steel. See warped images on the surfaces. Cool, chrome, silver, techno, smooth, non-stop, techno, slender, fenders, cool, chrome, silver, high-tech, Japanese, silver, Buddha house, high-tech, silver, virtual reality, metaverse, cool, chrome, silver, see them all shine in the sun, feel them all slippery on the surfaces, shiny, silver, Pegasus, shiny, silver, Hopros, cool, chrome, silver, cybernetic, silver, robots, cybernetic, silver, mirror shades, cool, chrome, silver, techno, smooth, non-stop, techno, slender, fenders, cool, chrome, silver. And the next one I'm going to do is called exoplanets. Search for life on another planet. I'm going to find the page. There we go. Got it here. Ready now. Gaze it up at the sky. Stars twinkled like miraculous dancers in space. Shook the ground beneath my feet. I was awestruck by the sheer magnificence. Their mysteries puzzled my mind as they played their wild games. They grabbed the spheres that became planets and swung them around constantly, ignited their radiance, for heat that created life through space and time. Their histories told stories beyond our understanding. Their glowing papyrus delivered, then burned it away. Belched their flames like obese dragons, exploded themselves into smithereens. Their death doors ripped it off through space. Shall we ever know whether life formed or not up there? It all depends on space and time, the right distance from the stars. Goldilocks, perfect bed, or the right amount of warmth in a bowl. While the 21st century comes along, excitement stirs my heart as discoveries of exoplanets bombarded the media. My childhood wish to see extraterrestrials bubble beneath my ribcage all over again. The discovery could expand my mind into wild imaginations. If only someone murmurs, there's a planet that has air, water, and life. Okay. Next is called New Ways. Let me find that. And scroll it down on the computer.
Wonderful, Eddie.
There you go. New ways, new ways. My mind is charged in wires. I feel like an android humming into life. Hear strange white noise of a new refrigerator. It's science fiction sound effect. Sunlight beams down to polished wood floor. Miraculous light heading into the future. New ways, new ways. My insights are turning into reality like hologram, finally becoming possible. See two new modern blue bar lights glowing above a new bar table. A 21st century blue-eyed child looking into the future. New ways, new ways. New Mac laptop stirs into life with its radiating phosphorescent light, playing its silent, sweetly. Walk through a new space of this place, like exploring through the tunnel into the future. New magical small cell phone beeps its ethereal sound. Star Trek gadget that kisses my digital hearing aids. New fancy video phones come to life in my living room. A journey through cybernetic landscapes. New ways. My mind is charged in wires. Next is Alien World Dream. Let me find that. Maybe if I find it. Okay, now I'm ready. Alien World Dream. I had a dream. It really was a real dream. Last night, I had a dream that I was abandoned on a land in another world. And I was lost. And astronauts left alone. Large transparent balloons floated above the ocean where extraterrestrial embryos could be seen. Inside, they were anchored by organic strings that held them over the water in the air. As I sat on a pink rock on the beach, I spotted glob-shaped spheres shooting up into purple sky. They were spaceships with intelligent being inside. Then I recognized alien cityscapes just beyond the small hill ahead of me. It was glowing iridescent pearl purple with odd morphed organic buildings everywhere. Tiny, absurd-looking purple insects flew around me here and there, and their wings appeared transparent like tiny, thin papers that sent me a sense of creepiness with their tiny, glass-like pupil eyes. I then realized that the air wasn't compatible for me, for it was thick and gel-like gas. I was protected in a spacesuit, knowing that I couldn't breathe this air at all. A strange six-legged reptile beast sauntered on the beach. Its colorful brains could be seen through its transparent skull. Frightening as it appeared, it saw me with its large, single, bold eye. But it just walked away without care. In a distance ahead of me, I saw a large, organic, transparent, square-shaped object. And it was moving on the beach slowly, like how snails do in our home. It shimmered glass-like with a glow in pearl white. There was nothing inside. This living being, all empty and clear. Then loneliness crawled deep in my heart as I felt disturbed to find myself all left alone on an unknown exoplanet far, far away. Where is Earth above me? I asked myself. When I noticed the unfamiliar constellation of stars in the purple sky, I craved to go back home as fear shook my bones. I asked, is this a dream? Or am I really going to be on this planet in the far distant future? Okay, I have 2 more left to go. Then let me find. Next call, stars. See all the stars twinkling in the sky. They lift me up over Mauna Kea, where miracles could arise. Handsome Orion commands me to expand my mind. I question the mystery up there where possibilities could arise. Come hold my hands, my amigos. Let's explore the beauty up high. Seek out places where we have never been before. Could we find life living far up there? No one should say astronomy is not exceptional, for it pushes our minds beyond the boxes. We shall lift our eyes up in the sky. Let the cosmos crack our skulls open wide. Look up at the stars dancing around in the sky. See how they glisten and shine. There could be secrets waiting for us up there. Handsome Orion begged me to take a ride. Let's hop on the spaceship and fly. We shall seek for miracles like discovering treasures of jewels. No one should say the astronomers are not significant, but they discover things that blow our minds. Why should we stay below the mystical sky and pay no mind? Life could turn dull if we don't aim up high. So let's gaze at the stars and jump over Mauna Kea. Let's embrace handsome Orion, and he would take us up to the heavenly lights. One more, and last one is in honor of David Bowie. Of course, David Bowie does a lot of experimental stuff, and he had a lot of computer with Brian Eno, who's a well-known electronic ambient music composer. They did a lot of strange things. So I grew up with David Bowie, and it's perfect for sci-fi science stuff. So call Ode to Mr. Bowie. Mr. Bowie's songs swirl in my head toward deep, sweet, spiffy science fiction sleep. His surreal serenade seeped bizarre beauty into my bones. Mr. Eno's euphoria induced electronic soundscapes create surrealistic symphonies. This odd orange-haired man gazed at the mystery of the unknown universe. Strange, silky, orange clouds hover above his organic orange hair. His mystical melodies radiate orange glow over infused, ignited, futuristic runaway. Through red velvet veins, cocaine circulates in his blood. Mr. Eno's eerie ambient tunes dance through oily orange air. Euphoria enhanced emotion seep slow and deep in my saturated soul. I walk through the city beneath odd-looking orange clouds. Listen to ethereal electronic sounds through an alien atmosphere. Pulling into Mr. Bowie's wild world. Mr. Bowie's majestic musical genius shall carry on for great generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. I'm unmuting you, Jen. Oh, that was just wonderful. It's just
Get a little round of applause. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And I
Awesome.
thought, yeah, Eddie, I thought that it worked actually really well without the music because we got to concentrate on the words and the signs, you know, and so.
Yeah, you're right. Well, originally I was going to project all the animation with caption and electronic music, all those poems in the Futuropolis book, each poem, and present it and write as a book. But the fires happened. Use it.
Yeah.
I'm going to perform like what Laurie Anderson did. Now, how she projected her video work while she performed on stage, similar, except she doesn't use sign language. And I use sign language in my own work, but it had to be canceled because the stupid virus. So that's what happened. But now electronic music that's looped is coming from that video work. So it didn't work out. For some reason, the sound disappeared. So it doesn't matter. As long as I'm able to speak a sign smoothly and clear, I'm fine with that. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. It was very clear. Both the signs and the vocals were very, very clear. So thank you. And I should mention that if anybody is curious about how Eddie performs with music and animation, he has a number of incredible videos on his Facebook page and also, I believe, on YouTube. Do you still have this? Still under Wild Poet? DJ Wild Poet, I think, is one of your YouTube channels.
I'm not a DJ anymore. I quit DJ. I'm just being.
Anyway, so if you Google him or go to his Facebook page, there are some incredible videos. Yeah.
Look for Wild Poet at Facebook, and you'll find my name in YouTube. You type Eddie Swayze. You'll find YouTube, a bunch of my poem, and Wild Poet Facebook page, all about my visual art, performing arts and stuff. Those two are major things you can look for.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Yes.
I've got a comment.
Yes.
Eddie, this is Ellen here in Albuquerque. I just wanted to let you know you did a wonderful job, and also you speak well considering the fact that you're deaf. That I just want you to know that you awesome job.
Thank you, Ellen. I also wanted to give a shout out to Whitney Grattan. I saw her name in the chat, and now I see her. Whitney was a student of mine at RIT, career writing student, and she was a wonderful illustration major, and we won't say how many years ago that was. And she did the cover for my Joe the Poet book in 2012, and she has just done the cover illustration for the new book. So thank you again so much, Whitney. Yeah, a pleasure.
My pleasure to John, and I'm very glad that I can join this via Zoom from far away.
And you probably saw Dangerous Signs or saw Eddie perform at one point or another in Rochester. So yeah, and you were involved with the music. What was the music group you were in?
Encore, RT Acapella. That's right.
That was, yeah, some talented people there. So thank you once again. All right, we are going to move on to our next feature. And so Jules, maybe time to start muting people again.
Yeah.
And once again, donations are available at the Jules Poetry Playhouse website, and I think Jules put the link in there. Okay, so our next poet is Miriam Sagan, who lives in Santa Fe, where she tends a very popular blog called Miriam's Well. I urge you to check it out. And also is much sought after for her workshops and classes. We were fortunate indeed that she did a class here at the at Jules Poetry Playhouse right before all this shutdown happened. So we were really, really lucky that we were able to host her here, and hope to do so again once things get back to something like normal. Miriam is the author of over 30 books of poetry, fiction, and memoir. Her most recent include Bluebeard's Castle from Red Mountain Press in 2019, 100 Cups of Coffee from Tres Chicas Press in 2019, and the one that we have the link for, Stargazing, Poems of Astronomy. So this did not, when we first worked this out, we didn't know it was going to be an all astronomy evening, but or nearly all astronomy. But anyway, that's from brand new 2020. Miriam is a two-time winner of the New Mexico-Arizona Book Awards, a recipient of the City of Santa Fe Mayor's Award for Excellence in the Arts, and a New Mexico Literary Arts Gratitude Award. She's been a writer in residence in 4 national parks. She's been at Yadu, McDowell, Gulkistan in Iceland, Kora Studio in Japan, and many, many awards. And her poetry's even been set to music by the Santa Fe Women's Chorus, incised on stoneware for a haiku pathway, and projected as video inside an abandoned grain silo. Please join me in welcoming Miriam Sagan.
Hi, can you see me? Can you hear me?
I see you and hear you. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for having me here this evening. It was a pleasure to find out about Eddie's work, to be introduced to it, and thanks to Jules and to John. Yes, I am reading Poems of Astronomy. This is from a lovely small press publisher in Joshua Tree, and it's Choya Needles. I suggest sending them some poems. They have a magazine as well as the book. And the book is selected. It turns out that every poem I ever wrote has either the moon rising or Venus rising. So I didn't put every poem that has the moon or Venus into this collection. This is basically poems that come out of an investigation of astronomy, the night sky, and some of them go back as far as the 80s, but most of them are fairly new. And this is from a friend of mine who's a scientist who said some things to me that really kind of triggered my thinking. It's called The Time It Takes to Reach Us. You say you don't think about happiness, rather how many minutes it takes sunlight to arrive on Earth. But this must be happiness. The pink roses have never bloomed like this profusely before. 8 minutes can be a long time in labor, in the MRI, in the Zendo, waiting for someone by the bronze statue in the square. It's too long for one kiss or one thought or standing in line for pie. But it's quick, so quick, compared to a fossil tribolite or a star. The sunshine looks fresh outside my window, yet you say this distance worries you. And I never really found out what he meant about being worried about the distance, but I didn't want to ask. I just wanted to steal it. I was in Truth or Consequences last winter, actually when I came to teach for Jules's Playhouse. And Truth or Consequences is, it's deeply weird. It's deeply great, but the fact that it has a spaceport is just to increase its weirdness and its connection to things that are not usual. So this is about the spaceport. Verticality of poplars, water tank on the hill. I wake neither sad nor happy. You can reach space from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, supposedly now just by paying what my father called the Yankee dollar. Or you could do as little as possible the way I do. Drink coffee, cream and sugar, the New York regular of my childhood. Once I was in Japan, once I was in your arms, once in Florence, Italy, but I didn't appreciate it then. Up behind the dam, scrub country, big empty buses, rattlesnakes, foreclosure. You can say archaeology or potable. You can say other worlds shine in the firmament, not ours, these worlds, not even this one. And I know that I am a fast reader. I'm going to give you those last few lines again, against my New York upbringing, slowly. You can say, other worlds shine in the firmament. Not ours, though, these worlds. Not even this one. So I thought I'd take on the planets, you know, a kind of small, easily done project. And, you know, the planets are like super great, but kind of scary to address because there's a lot of astronomy, there's a lot of astrology, music, all kinds of thinking about the planets. And I just thought, you know what, the heck, I'm just gonna make them my planets. You know, who cares what Greco-Roman planets they were? I'm gonna be friends with these planets. And so visualize where I am. I'm alone in a very funky bathhouse in Truth or Consequences, the Pelican, you may know it. And I'm alone for days thinking about the planets. So what happened is I wrote about the bathhouse. The first one is called Mercury the Bathhouse. I stretched out my old legs, my very old toes in the concrete tub where hot water gushes from the earth just for my aches and pains. All 9 planets were present at my birth, are present now. Just not visible today in January in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. The woman tourist said it was ugly here. I'm going to read that line again because it annoyed me beyond belief. The woman tourist said it was ugly here. Little falling downtown with its decrepit charm. Nothing prettier than a string of Christmas lights in the dusk. Don't get me wrong. I also don't welcome the messenger between the living and the dead. An email I sent myself appears years later, or roses delivered to the wrong address. I'd rather forget than remember in sleep. Still through the steam of the bath, the rainy streets of the metropolis I was born in appear slick and reflecting colored lights of the past. So Jupiter is thought of as like, you know, the king of the planets, the emperor. And I just said, Jupiter, patriarchy. I was alone for many days having opinions. Jupiter, patriarchy. Every bad card from the pack turns up. The emperor, the devil, those fixed things that refuse to change. Who turned me into an old woman? Time, when I was just messing around, not paying attention. It's never too early or late to learn to say, fuck with me, you die. To break a hold, smash an instep, to survive the mosh pit and an unknown future. The largest planet is ringed by moons, is bright, magnetic, heavy. The great red spot is a storm that keeps raging. If you meet a guru, call it a day. Don't follow. Star or a wanderer, do look at your feet. Can you run in those shoes? And I think, I'm going to do a very short poem, otherwise known as a haiku. So this has a title, and for those of you who write haiku for so many years, I had been told, or I thought, never put a title on a haiku. Bad, bad, bad. Then I see lots of Japanese poets, Phil Whalen, the Beat poet, lots of people are putting titles on haiku. So again, I was alone for too long. I put a title on my haiku. And this is one of the planets. It's called Saturn Old Age. I'll read it twice. Saturn Old Age. Joshua trees, we sleep beneath the rings of Saturn. Joshua trees, we sleep beneath the rings of Saturn. I have to say, I think I love Saturn the most because Saturn looks like Saturn, and if you ever had paste up your stars on your ceiling kit for you or for your kids, it's like, whoa, it's definitely Saturn. So I think I'll read maybe one more of the planets and then maybe another two or so. And this one is called Neptune, Gates of Ivory and Horn. And that refers to the really Roman belief that there's true dreams and false dreams. And, all dreams are true, all dreams are false, but they come through different gateways. And this is a dream I had no idea whether it was true or false. I guess that's why it got put into Neptune. In the dream, she tells me the dead can communicate with us. I don't believe that. Say no. It is just as if the elevator opened at the wrong floor. You always say that, she says. But when I wake up, I realize I never say that. And I'm not even sure exactly what it means. The planet Neptune can't be seen with the naked eye. Its existence is predicted by a wobble. Galileo thought it a fixed star and therefore isn't credited with its discovery. This does not seem fair to me. It's an ice giant, and depending on what you believe, the outermost planet or second farthest away from us. You yourself can compare this to whatever pleases you. The living, the dead. Frankly, I'm getting a little worn out comparing things all day and then in my dreams. Don't forget though, metaphor works both ways. If sleep is its own expanse of universe, then the cosmos must also be sleeping. Sleepy maybe, and having trouble staying up late like me. But asleep? I think not. It's funny, that's the pull quote for the book that my editor put on the Amazon link, and I think he was feeling it too. I'm getting a little worn out comparing things all day. It's like, the poet's exhaustion. Anyway, thank you for, going through our galaxy, our cosmos, but really our solar system. There's a bunch of poems in the book about model solar systems. That's just something that I love. We're suddenly, here you are at Mercury and it's like a 7-Eleven, and then, you drive through Moab and you're out in Canyonlands and you still haven't even left the solar system. So there's some of that. I'm not going to read it tonight, but there's a poem about, these are the extras. So you'll buy the book about my second cousin, Carl Sagan. Yes, I come by this honestly. And, but I wanted to end with a kind of a storytelling poem. And this is really, I think it's a Siberian tale, but retold. It's called Old Story. The moon wanted the woman he'd seen among reindeer. She wasn't beneath the wooden bed or hidden under the eye-dazzler rug. She had turned into a lamp, shedding heat and light. The moon bent down to enter the low doorway of the yurt. He was sweating like a suitor. She turned back into a woman with two breasts. The moon said he would tell her his 12 secret names, which together make a year of time. But in the morning, all she could remember was moon, 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 moon. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Miriam.
Thank you.
I just like I love the planets and how they each have their personalities and how it fits in with Eddie's reading is just wonderful.
That was just delightful. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
When Eddie was reading, I was freaking out. I was like,
Yeah.
they were so brilliant. They put things together that really, mean something. And now it seems like a serendipity.
And
Oh, Miriam, you rock the planets.
Thank you, Carla.
they both came from a very different angle because Eddie actually was out there in space and you were very much grounded in Earth, reflecting on or experiencing from down here. So it was a really wonderfully serendipitous mixture, as I said.
Yes, yes.
I didn't intend originally to have an all astronomy, all cosmic night, but it worked out. So thank you.
And thank you for the captions, which is really something that I rely on. And that was great. And that was the slowest I ever read. And I know it's still too fast, but thank you.
Anyway, this is Joe here. Just one comment. The planets, it brought me way, way up there, and I was going through my mind Gustav Holst's musical composition, The Planets, and I could hear it, and I'm inspired to write poems like myself like that with that kind of music in the background. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks again to Eddie and Miriam. And could we unmute and have a nice round of applause again? So.
Sure, I'm gonna stop recording now unless, and I would just say poetryplayhouse.com. So thank you, everybody, and we'll post this on YouTube in a little bit. All right.